Republican presidential candidate Ron Paul has repeatedly denied any personal role in writing racist newsletters that were published under his name back in the 1990s. Today, however, the Washington Post quotes several former Paul associates who say he was aware that he did sign off. I asked Congressman Paul about this today while he was campaigning in Maine. The Washington Post reports today, they quote your former secretary about these newsletters that went out under your name back in the 1990s, some of them with racially tinged, some say outright racist comments in them. This is your former secretary, Renee Hathaway. She says it was his newsletter and it was under his name, so he always got to see the final product. He would proof it. You have said in the past, sir, that you didn't always see what was in that newsletter. What's the truth?
Well, she's made that story up. She also said that I was in and out of the office every single day. The office wasn't even in the town that I live. So that's a completely false reporting, and they should have verified that, because I think somebody from my staff answered it but didn't get that information in. No, that's completely false. Completely false. I just want to follow up on this point. She says that you would review every newsletter. Others in there are some other people in the article saying you were busy not to do that, but some others saying they recall you sitting at your desk and proofing them. And one even said you met with Ed Crane, the head of the Cato Institute. At one point you acknowledged that the more out there some of these statements would be, the more likely you'd be to get subscribers. Well, I don't know what he's talking about. But just to Renee, I don't recall that conversation. I just think that, you know, you're talking about something I didn't write 20 years ago or so, and I don't know how long you want to beat a dead horse. You always get the same answers from me. I didn't review them, I didn't endorse them, and I've condemned them. And if you want me to talk about race, and that's what you're trying to imply from these questions, some type of a negative attitude about me, if you want me to talk about race, go look at my record and look at my answer to Stephanopoulos in the debates, and you might get something worth reporting rather than trying to demagogue this issue.
Much more of that conversation with Congressman Paul later, including where he currently sees his campaign matching up in this tight GOP contest. Tonight, though, a new poll dramatically shows how quickly Speaker Gingrich is losing momentum in Florida. The Quinnipiac survey from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of this week shows Governor Romney leading Gingrich 38% to 29%. That's among likely Florida Republican primary voters. Just on Sunday and Monday, Gingrich had a 40% to 34% lead over Governor Romney. Our chief political analyst, Gloria Borger, is... A short time ago, I had a conversation with the Texas Congressman Ron Paul. He is not in Florida, like the rest of the Republican candidates for president. So what is his strategy for trying to win the nomination? Congressman Paul joins us from Lewiston, Maine today. Congressman, thanks for your time. I want to start with some policy questions. You have been very firm in all of the Republican debates saying we need to cut spending. You say cut $1 trillion in your first year. I want you to listen to President Obama today on the road promoting his plan to help make college more affordable.
We're telling the states, if you can find new ways to bring down the cost of college and make it easier for more students to graduate, we'll help you do it. We will give you additional federal support if you are doing a good job of making sure that all of you aren't loaded up with debt when you graduate from college.
You heard the president there, sir, saying additional federal support. If it was a Paul presidency, would the federal government get out of the student loan and the student aid business?
Well, we have a problem of debt, so how do you solve the problem of debt? By accumulating more debt. So he's just talking about who gets the debt. And he says the federal government does it, that just puts the debt on somebody else. Maybe another young person will get it, somebody that didn't get to go to college. So that's just a gimmick. But they don't address the subject which I have in the debate so often is, why is the cost of education so high? And it's high because there's inflation. You pump money into something, you push prices up, just as we did with the houses. So it's a failed policy. When I went to college, it was much cheaper and you had jobs and we could work our way through. So this is all a result of too much government interference in trying to give everybody something for free. It just doesn't work.
Another big issue on the table right now is the Pentagon is working on a plan, Defense Secretary Panetta says he supported, to slash about 100,000 troops from the active U.S. military. A lot of conservatives say, whoa, that's too many. How about you, sir? Is that a good number?
Well, you have to look at that. I don't know where he's going to cut, but no, I think that's a good idea. But even Rumsfeld used to talk about that. Remember when he was talking about a smaller and elite army? But what you have to have is a small and elite foreign policy. If you're still going to maintain all these bases and pretend you can do all these things and cut out the troops, I think there's a conflict there, and that's why Rumsfeld never get very far, and Panetta won't get very far either. You have to downsize the appetite for running the world and policing the world and doing all this nation building. So it's inconsistent. I don't think he can do it.
You're in Maine today. Most of your rivals are in Miami or elsewhere in Florida. You just told the audience in Maine you're there because of the delegates. You're in for the long haul. Help me answer this one, sir. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being yes, 1 being probably not, where do you view the likelihood of Ron Paul winning the Republican presidential nomination?
Oh, probably about equal to the other candidates in the race. I mean, there were 9 of us, remember? No, I mean, it's going to be difficult, but to say that, you know, I have it sewed up, no. We have a long way to go, and we're going to accumulate as many delegates as we can get and see what comes out of it.
The former GE CEO, Jack Welch, was on one of our morning programs this morning, and he doesn't think you'll win the nomination, but he also says the Republican Party better be careful. Let's listen.
Ron Paul is going to exit left on this stage sometime down the road before August or in August, and the GOP doesn't want to lose those wonderful voters that he's brought on board. So how well they treat Ron Paul going forward is a very big deal.
Do you feel the party's treating you well, sir?
I think they're making an attempt to do so, and I think he has something going there. But the part of that interview you should have reported on was his wife saying that their 4 boys all supported me. So that was the magnificent part of that interview. And maybe tonight he's going to have to discuss it with his sons why he wants me to get out of the race.
It's an excellent point. A good sense of humor there. You had a great sense of humor at the debate last night, including when Wolf Blitzer asked you about the prospect of your medical records. Let's listen.
If you were elected, are you prepared to release your medical records so voters out there know what your health is?
Oh, obviously, because it's about 1 page, if even that long. But I'm willing to challenge any of these gentlemen up here to a 25-mile bike ride any time of the day in the heat of Texas.
A couple questions there. Do you ride 25 miles in the heat of Texas? And, you know, I think I'd pay money to come see that event if you could get the others to show up, sir.
Well, I can. I don't have the time. I usually satisfy myself with about 12 to 15. I mean, when I'm not engaged in strict campaigning, I'll walk for an hour in the morning, then I ride my bike in the evening, and I love it, and I enjoy it. But an hour or so, you know, in the morning and in the evening, I mean, there's a limit to how much time I can give to it. But no, I can do the 25 miles. But you know, I've been thinking about bringing up my medical records, and I don't know where to go. I don't know who has my medical records. They're all in my head. I can't go to a physician and say, hey, print out my medical records, because, you know, we have a lot of physicians in the family, and I don't take any medications, and so therefore I don't have a medical record. So my reflective attitude was, I don't even know if it'll fill a page. I guess I could put down a page down, you know, and I had a surgery here or two to fix some knees, but other than that, I don't have any medical problems.
Congressman Paul there a bit earlier today from Lewiston, Maine. He's a funny man. A lot of claims and allegations thrown around by the candidates in last night's debate. How much truth did they contain? With us tonight, Bill Adair. He's the editor of the Peel